When we examine the history of the children of Israel, we find ourselves before a narrative in which faith and history are deeply intertwined. The Torah presents a rich and eventful account of the origins of this people and their long journey through the ages. But to what extent does this narrative align with historical facts? And can it be relied upon as an accurate source for understanding the history of the children of Israel? Researchers in ancient history face significant challenges when attempting to reconcile the biblical accounts with archaeological evidence. While the Torah offers a detailed portrayal of the Israelites' past, archaeological discoveries have yet to confirm many of these events. In this video, we will take you on a journey through the biblical texts to explore the stages of the development of the children of Israel, beginning with their early ancestors, passing through the Exodus from Egypt and the wandering in the desert, and culminating in the establishment of the kingdom and its eventual fall into the hands of the great powers of that time. Stay with us until the end. And don't forget to support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel so you can receive all our latest content. The story of the children of Israel begins with the moment the prophet Abraham left the city of Ur in Iraq. He was given the title, "the one who crosses," or the Hebrew, a designation linked to his crossing of the Euphrates River. According to the Torah, Abraham was a central figure in the history of the children of Israel, regarded as the spiritual patriarch who laid the foundation for a lineage destined to play a significant role in history. Abraham departed with his wife, Sarah, heading toward the land of Canaan in Palestine, in response to a divine call. At that time, Canaan was known as a cradle of flourishing civilizations. Powerful Canaanite and Phoenician kingdoms had arisen there, such as Ammon, Moab, and Edom. Upon his arrival in Canaan, Abraham settled in the land, which was fertile and rich in natural resources. There, he received a divine promise that his descendants would become a great nation. From this moment, the history of the children of Israel began, as this divine promise became the starting point for a series of events that extended across generations, shaping a long and complex history for this people. Abraham's migration to Canaan is considered a decisive moment in the foundation of what would later be known as the Hebrew nation. It was not merely a geographical relocation, but the beginning of a new phase in the relationship between this people and their God. This transition embodied a profound act of faith that laid the religious and civilizational foundations which would be passed down through generations, becoming the cornerstone of the identity of the children of Israel and their enduring history across the ages. The story of Abraham and his descendants represents a cornerstone in the history of the children of Israel. From this lineage emerged the foundation of Judaism and the other Abrahamic religions. Abraham had two wives, Sarah and Hagar. Through Sarah, he fathered Isaac, who played a central role in the transmission of the divine covenant. Isaac, in turn, fathered Jacob, who was given the name Israel. And Jacob had 12 sons, who later became the founders of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. As for Hagar, the Egyptian maidservant whom Sarah gave to Abraham, she bore his firstborn son, Ishmael. Ishmael would go on to have a separate lineage that carried significant historical and spiritual influence in the region. Ishmael holds an important place in Arab and Islamic history. In Islam, he is regarded as a prophet, whereas in Jewish tradition, he is not recognized as such. Ishmael is said to have married into the Arab tribe of Jurhum, which inhabited Mecca and was considered one of the prominent and influential Arab tribes of the region. This marriage had a lasting impact on Arab history. Ishmael's descendants integrated with the Jurhum tribe, leading to the emergence of the so-called Arabized Arabs, al-Arab al-Mustariba, who are traditionally viewed as the lineage from which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, descended. In this way, Ishmael became a central figure in the ancestry of many Arab tribes, strengthening his stature in Arab and Islamic heritage. On the other hand, Isaac remained in the land of Canaan, where he grew up in a rich religious and cultural environment. Isaac is recognized as a prophet in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam alike. After his death, leadership passed to his son Jacob. Jacob, who later became known as Israel, is considered a central figure in the history of the children of Israel. He was the second son of Isaac and held a distinguished status, as from his lineage came the 12 tribes that formed the social and religious foundation of the Jewish people. According to the Torah, Jacob fathered 12 sons, each of whom played a significant role in shaping the tribes of the children of Israel. These tribes later became the nucleus of Israelite society, with each tribe possessing its own territory and distinct identity within the land of Canaan. Among Jacob's sons, Joseph and Judah stand out in particular. Joseph was especially beloved by his father, but his brother's jealousy led him to an unexpected fate. They sold him as a slave to traders who took him to Egypt. However, Joseph eventually rose within the Egyptian court to become one of its most prominent figures. His story holds special importance in Jewish tradition, symbolizing perseverance, divine providence, and redemption. Judah, on the other hand, became the founder of the tribe from which the term Jews was later derived. He played a fundamental role in the religious and political history of the children of Israel. His tribe bore his name and became one of the principal pillars of Israelite identity. The 12 tribes played a crucial role in organizing Israelite society. Each tribe had its own social and religious character, strengthening the collective identity of the Israelites across the ages. These tribes lived according to a defined tribal structure, forming the foundation of a society that would later develop into one of the most influential peoples in the region's history. The land of Canaan eventually experienced a severe famine that made life extremely difficult. During these harsh times, Jacob decided to send his sons to Egypt to obtain food. By then, Joseph held an important position in the Egyptian royal court, placing him in a powerful position to influence events. Thanks to his elevated status, Joseph was able to provide security for his family. As a result, Jacob and his sons, along with their households, moved to Egypt to settle there. During the early period of their stay in Egypt, they lived in peace, as Joseph's high rank allowed him to care for and protect his family. The exodus of the children of Israel from Egypt is regarded as one of the most pivotal events in their biblical history. It took place during a period when the Israelites were living under extremely harsh conditions of bondage and forced labor in Egypt. They were subjected to oppression and enslavement, which made their situation increasingly unbearable. Moses, who descended from the tribe of Levi, the son of Jacob, emerged as the leader of this monumental movement. He was considered a great prophet among the children of Israel, and through him, God revealed the Jewish law. Moses became the central figure in guiding his people through what would later be known as the Exodus, the great departure from Egypt. According to the biblical account, a divine miracle occurred when the Red Sea was parted, allowing the Israelites to cross safely and escape from the tyranny of Pharaoh and his soldiers. However, their struggles did not end with their escape from Egypt. After the Exodus, the Israelites faced severe trials in the wilderness. They wandered in the Sinai desert for 40 years, a period attributed to their disobedience and their incomplete faith in God. This prolonged wandering was seen as a divine test. During these difficult years, they endured hunger and thirst, yet God provided them with manna and quail as sustenance, teaching them dependence upon Him and reinforcing their spiritual discipline. The years of wandering came to an end with the death of Moses, who had led the Israelites throughout those challenging decades. After his passing, leadership was transferred to Joshua, son of Nun. Under Joshua's command, the Israelites engaged in fierce battles against the Canaanites. Following a long and difficult struggle, they succeeded in entering the land of Canaan, achieving what they regarded as a great victory and the fulfillment of the divine promise. With their settlement in Canaan, a new chapter in their history began. This phase was characterized by the establishment of their communities and the formation of their political and religious structure in the region, laying the groundwork for the later development of their kingdom and national identity. After the death of Joshua, son of Nun, the children of Israel entered a period of political and social fragmentation known as the Era of the Judges. This was a time marked by the absence of centralized authority. There was no unified king. Instead, each tribe managed its own affairs independently. This era lasted for approximately 3 centuries, during which the Israelites experienced repeated internal conflicts, as well as external wars. In this context, the judges emerged as temporary leaders who assumed authority during times of crisis, whether in warfare or when facing threats from neighboring peoples. Despite their decisive role, the judges were not permanent rulers. Rather, they arose in moments of need, serving as symbols of military and religious leadership. Eventually, however, the children of Israel transitioned from this tribal system to a centralized monarchy. The last of the judges to lead the Israelites was the prophet Samuel. He guided his people through a period characterized by instability and unrest. As external threats intensified and internal divisions deepened, the Israelites recognized their need for a king who could unify them and lead them under a single banner. In response to this demand, Samuel chose Saul, also known as Talut, to become the first king in the history of the children of Israel. With this decision, the era of monarchy began, marking a major turning point in their history. This transformation helped unify the previously scattered tribes and paved the way for the emergence of a strong and centralized kingdom. After the death of Saul, King David assumed rule over the children of Israel, marking the beginning of a new phase in the kingdom's history. David was a towering figure in Israelite history. He worked to significantly expand the kingdom's borders and achieved numerous military victories that consolidated and strengthened the united monarchy. Under his rule, Jerusalem became the capital of the kingdom, and the city began to assume a central role in the religious and political history of the children of Israel. David is also regarded as a prophet in Islam, and his name is mentioned in several passages of the Quran, further emphasizing his spiritual significance beyond the Jewish tradition. Following David's death, his son Solomon succeeded him and continued his father's legacy. Solomon expanded the kingdom's influence and reinforced its prosperity, ushering in what is often considered one of the most glorious periods in the history of the children of Israel. His reign became a symbol of strength and stability, and he was widely known for his wisdom and political acumen. One of Solomon's most significant achievements was the construction of Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem, which became one of the most important religious landmarks in Jewish history and one of its holiest sites. His era was also distinguished by the expansion of diplomatic and commercial relations with surrounding states, contributing greatly to the kingdom's wealth, stability, and flourishing prosperity. After the death of King Solomon, the Israelite kingdom entered a period of weakness and division. The kingdom split into 2 separate entities: the Kingdom of Israel in the north, which included 10 of the Israelite tribes, and the Kingdom of Judah in the south, which consisted only of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. The main cause of this division was internal disputes over succession, which intensified after Solomon's death, weakening Israel's political power and leaving it vulnerable to external interventions. In 722 BCE, the northern kingdom of Israel fell to the Assyrians, who destroyed its capital, Samaria, and forced its inhabitants into exile across various parts of the Assyrian Empire. This led to the near-complete disappearance of the northern tribe's distinct identity from history. Meanwhile, the kingdom of Judah in the south persisted for a longer period under the Davidic dynasty. However, it was not immune to threats. Increasing pressure came from the Babylonians, who had become the dominant power in the region. Over time, continued foreign military interventions eventually led to the fall of Judah. In 586 BCE, a catastrophic event occurred in Israelite history. The kingdom of Judah fell to Nebuchadnezzar II, the king of Babylon. The city of Jerusalem was completely destroyed, including Solomon's first temple, the central place of Jewish worship. This destruction caused profound religious and political shock. A large number of Jews were exiled to Babylon, where they lived in captivity for more than 50 years, an era known as the Babylonian exile. The Babylonian exile did not last forever. With the fall of the Babylonian Empire to the Persians under King Cyrus the Great in 539 BCE, circumstances changed. King Cyrus issued a decree allowing the Jews to return to their homeland and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their history. After a period of Persian dominance in the region, Alexander the Great conquered the East in the 4th century BCE, inaugurating the Hellenistic era in the Levant. This period was marked by the widespread dissemination of Greek culture, which blended with local traditions and influenced religious and social practices among the peoples of the region. Over time, following Alexander's death, his empire was divided among his generals. The Levant initially came under the control of the Ptolemies, and later the Seleucids. Eventually, as the power of these Hellenistic kingdoms waned, the Roman Empire established control over the region in 63 BCE, making Judah a part of the Roman Empire. This political shift had significant effects on Jewish society. Roman rule began to impose its authority over the land of Judah, creating tensions within the Jewish community. During this period, the figure of Jesus Christ emerged, which further heightened tensions between the Jews and the Roman authorities. These tensions were fueled by the Jewish refusal to submit to Roman rule, as well as the rise of religious movements and prophetic claims that deeply influenced society. The resulting conflicts led to a series of Jewish revolts against Roman authority, all of which ultimately failed, provoking increased repression from the Romans. Following the failure of these revolts, the Romans decided to destroy Jerusalem in 70 CE. The Second Temple, a central symbol of Jewish religious and communal life, was completely destroyed. Jerusalem was subsequently transformed into a Roman colony, renamed Aelia Capitolina, and Jews were forbidden from residing in the city or practicing their religious rites there. As a consequence of Roman oppression and persecution, Jews began to disperse widely throughout the Roman Empire in what became known as the Roman diaspora, or diaspora. Jewish communities spread across Europe, Asia, and Africa, interacting with local cultures while also leaving a significant mark on the societies they settled in by spreading their religion and cultural traditions. This widespread dispersion represented a turning point in Jewish history. While Jews integrated into the societies they inhabited, they retained their religious beliefs, which became a central element of their enduring religious and cultural identity. In conclusion, the history of the children of Israel, as presented in the biblical narratives, remains a series of events and personalities that left a lasting impact on Judaism and the history of the region. Despite the lack of sufficient archaeological evidence to confirm the accuracy of some of these accounts, they continue to form an integral part of the religious and cultural heritage passed down through generations. This brings us to the end of today's video. Don't miss the opportunity to stay updated with all our latest content by subscribing to the channel and activating the notification bell so you can receive everything new.